Are you looking to buy a new car? Then one of the most common questions prodding in your head is whether to buy a first-hand car or a second-hand car. And before we make this choice, there are several aspects to be considered. Hi, my name is Brunda and welcome to IndianMoney.com. Today, I will tell you if buying a first-hand car or buying a second-hand car is the right option for you. The first and foremost question that you must ask yourself before you buy a car is if it's really a necessity. If you really have the necessity for this car. Why? Because a lot of people buy a car as a matter of status in the society or about what others will speak about them. This is a wrong thing to do, as you are the one paying your hard-earned money to buy a car. And if it's really not a necessity for you, then I would say refrain from buying it instead of simply buying and keeping it in a corner covered. Did you know that the value of your car immediately depreciates by 20% as soon as it is registered in your name? Because as soon as it's registered in your name, it becomes a second-hand car or a owned car. That's why think twice before you make this big investment. The next major aspect that you need to consider is capacity. Do you have the financial capacity to buy a car? The thumb rule while buying a car is if the budget of the car exceeds your 1 year's annual income, then you mustn't buy it. What I mean to say is if your annual income is 5 lakh rupees, you must not buy a car that will exceed 5 lakh rupees. The budget of the car must be well within 5 lakh rupees so you can avoid financial burdens. This way, you can ensure that you can pay back the amount of the car without having any other problems. So remember the thumb rule before you buy a car. Coming to the main point. Suppose your budget is 15 lakh rupees to buy a car. You can very well get, say, a Verna, a Honda City, or even a Hyundai Creta if you're looking to buy an SUV. But did you know that for the same amount, you can also get a Jeep, a Accord, or even an Audi for 15 lakh rupees as a second-hand car, of course. So decide on what kind of car you want to buy, and accordingly, you will know if your budget fits into it. Don't forget, if you buy higher-end cars like Jeep, Accord, or Audi, the maintenance costs will also be high, as a result of which it might actually exceed your normal budget. So be careful before you make such decisions. Now, say suppose your budget is 4 lakh rupees. I would suggest that you go for a second-hand car. You can get a very good working condition Swift for this price. But mind you, it is very important where you buy the second-hand car from. Now, if you buy this car from a place where it's used more, then the condition might not be as mint as we like it to. Whom can you buy it from? An old couple living in an apartment, somebody who commutes to work in their car say once or twice a month, or such people who do not use their car as much. This will ensure that the car is in mint condition even though it's a second-hand car. You can also further take your personal mechanic along with you and ask him or her to check the car. This way, you will be aware of what all repairs are there in the car or what condition the car actually is in. The mechanic will do a thorough check of the car so you will not be buying blindly. You can further give this car to a service station where they will service your car for say 20 to 30,000 and it will be brand new. Another important tip that I will give you. Look at the insurance history of a car before you buy it. Why? Because if the car has already undergone damage or if it has met with an accident prior, it will be there in the insurance history. As a result of which, you will know if the car you are buying has already undergone damage. And naturally, we will not want to buy a car that has been damaged previously. So always make sure to check the insurance history of the car before you buy it. A strict no would be to buy a car with a yellow board. Buying yellow board cars is not advisable as these cars are usually used for taxis, which also means that they're used vigorously on a daily basis. Or if you're starting a taxi business, then I would suggest that you buy a normal second-hand car for around 4 lakh rupees. You'll get a very good deal and then convert it to a yellow board. This way, you will ensure that the longevity of the car is more. Bank of Maharashtra gives car loans at an interest of 6.4%. But if you're not eligible for a loan, you can always approach these financing companies at an interest of 2% per month, which is actually on the higher side. So ensure that you look up the market's interest rates and accordingly take a decision so you don't fall into a trap unnecessarily. Now, coming to the category of people who have the financial capacity but are not so well versed in driving. For you, I would suggest you go for a second-hand car. Because when you buy a brand new car and you're not so good at driving and you end up dashing somewhere and getting some scratches on it, it will definitely hurt you. So what you can do instead is you can go for a second-hand car, practice for a year or so, get really good at driving, excel at it, sell it, and then buy a first-hand car, the brand new dream car that you always wanted. But if you are somebody who has the financial capacity and you're very good at driving or you excel at it, then first-hand car is the answer for you. There's no two thoughts about it. There is a certain advantage to buying a first-hand car as well. You will not be incurring unnecessary repair costs for over 5 years, which is usually not the case in second-hand cars. But the downside to buying a first-hand car is you will have to pay a lump sum on purchase of a new car. What are these lump sums? You have to pay tax, lifetime tax. You have to pay insurance for the next few years. You also have to pay for registration, which all sums up to a huge amount. When we buy a car, right, there is the value of a car and then we say on road it costs this much. So this is what all the costs include. So if you cannot afford it, then I would suggest that you go for a second-hand car because most of these costs are minimal or absent in case of buying a second-hand car. To sum up, I would like to say that if you have the financial capacity and if you know how to drive, then first-hand car is the answer for you. But if you're falling short on your budget or if you do not have the financial capacity, then there is no harm in going for a second-hand car, provided that you take it from a good place. Where you buy a second-hand car from is very, very important. Also, don't forget the thumb rule while buying a car, which is it must not exceed your 1 year's annual income. The budget of your car must not exceed your 1 year's annual income. I hope you found this video helpful. For more such financial content or content related to business, agriculture, career building, download our Financial Freedom app from Play Store or App Store. Like this button and also subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell icon so you will be notified every time we come up with such interesting content. Thank you for watching IndianMoney.com. Get wise, break free.